Hello and welcome to City Corner. I'm your host today, Todd Blackstock. On today's episode, we're joined by the founder of ConstructReach, Paul Robinson. He's going to discuss the diversity coming up and going on in the construction industry and preview some great events coming up this summer. So stay with us for City Corner on STL TV coming up next. And joining us now on City Corner is the founder and CEO of ConstructReach, Paul Robinson. Paul, thanks for joining us again here on STL TV.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You know, I'm looking over, over your bio and your resume, and you had the opportunity to graduate from a nice high school here in St. Louis. You went on Hazelwood East,
yes.
Then you went on to K-State over in Kansas,
yes.
And that really provided you an opportunity to get your degree, and that degree was in construction management. How imperative was that to you to get that degree? And it seems like it really set you up in the construction business and in life.
Yeah, it did. You know, I went to Kansas State, of course, as you mentioned, and having the opportunity to major in a field that I had interest in growing up, and then to actually move into that industry post-graduation was something that's rare, because a lot of times we go to school and we obtain a degree and then we come out and we work for, something that's completely different than what we actually went to school for. And so it was definitely a benefit for me to go through the schooling, major in construction, and then move into that industry.
And it seemed like you had a nice situation pretty close, like right out of college with Target, one of the largest retail companies in the United States of America. So that must have been, pretty rewarding starting off your career with a company like that.
Yeah, during college, I saw the benefits of internships early on, which is something that we'll talk about later with ConstructReach. Being able to have that understanding about what it takes, right, to operate in that profession that you're currently trying to get a degree in, and understanding what translates from an educational standpoint into the actual real world, and with those roles and responsibilities of certain positions in a career pathway. And so through my internship with Target, having the opportunity to understand all of the nuances, if you will, as it pertains to construction, the ins and outs from the office to the field, it was definitely an experience that built an affinity for me, not only for the industry, but for that company as well.
Internships are huge, especially when you're in college. You get your feet wet already, and then you slide into the business. How important was it to you to have that internship, and did you start off a little bit higher up in the company, or did you still have to start at the bottom and work your way up? Because with that degree and the internship, you might have been a step ahead of the game.
Yeah, internships definitely help because it allowed me to make an informed decision about pursuing a career, especially with an employer, right? And so, yeah, I wouldn't say that I started high up, but I would say that the internship did help with moving into a career and moving into a full-time position. You still have to work your way up. You're still kind of at the bottom of that S curve, if you will, trying to learn in that learning curve. But you have great support, with those people who are a little bit more tenured to help support you and grow you and put you in opportunities to develop your skills.
When you started out with Target, were you kind of a grunt at the first? I mean, were you doing like the construction work yourself, or were you more on the business administrative aspect of it? Yeah,
so for me, I came in essentially kind of at the management position on the field, kind of operating in that kind of superintendent role, if you will, that liaison between headquarters and the field. Being able to be involved in the day-to-day aspects of the project. And for me, coming straight out of school, like that was the best position for me to start out in, because you got a chance to actually see every day what we were going through from an educational standpoint and applying those things. And so, yeah, that was definitely where I started.
Well, you must have made quite an impression with your supervisors and administrators, because in 2015, Target reached out to you for guidance. What were they looking for?
Well, when you look at the state of the industry and the need for more diversity, but also the retirement crisis that's hovering over the industry, I would say we're in it now. being a very intentional company as they are, they wanted to make a difference in the communities in which they have a presence, and for those projects to be built by the people that shop in their stores. And so looking at it from a macro position, how do we put together a systematic, if you will, kind of programmatic workforce development initiative that could also be a benefit for the communities in which there's a presence? That's essentially kind of how the genesis of that was and how it birthed. And so it's looking at the state of the industry, knowing that there is a need for that, and then ConstructReach was birthed with operating in the fact that, hey, we can provide a business solution, if you will, for the needs of the industry that can both overall move to the sustainability of the industry, but also provide those opportunities for individuals that could actually succeed with having the opportunity.
So from 2015 to 2018, what was your main focus?
Oh boy, I would say it's understanding all of the different stakeholders' positions in terms of the construction industry, and looking at the state that we're in, and understanding how do we want to position ourselves to add value, right? And so ConstructReach, essentially workforce development consultancy, seeking to address the underrepresentation of minorities within the construction industry, but also looking at the fact that we wanted to be that facilitator in the marketplace to strengthen those relationships between stakeholders, right? So those are brands and corporations, but then also the employers within the industry. And then also, which is a critical stakeholder, educators. Being able to establish healthy relationships between educators and the industry of construction so that we can be as ubiquitous as we can, meaning ConstructReach, and put opportunities in front of young people, right? So that they can understand not only what their options are, but that they may have an aptitude for that and could thrive in this industry that they may not have known about.
So there are a lot, few minorities in the construction industry. The workforce is getting old. Half the workforce is over 46. So if you look down the road, you're thinking in the future, gosh, in 10, 15 years, a lot of these people are going to be retiring. And not as many people are coming up through the workforce. Yeah. So, what's the key to get to younger people? I think 44% of millennials and 49% of Gen Z are minorities.
Yeah.
What can you do, or what have you done to get them more involved?
Yeah, I think it's just the awareness, and you said it there in those statistics. The industry is in need of that demographic, but that demographic is the most diverse that it has ever been. And you have to, from an industry standpoint, we have to see that there's been a long-standing area of opportunity for the industry to be more conducive to a minority success. And so for us, that's where the consultation piece comes in. How do we help companies in the industry be healthy enough to receive that young talent? And how do we lead with that intentionality? Understanding where they are, and then to meet them where they are as well. And so for us, it's translated into community engagement events such as I Built This, right? We've kind of coined it IBT, where essentially we allow construction projects to become a little bit more communal, and we partner with the surrounding schools and school districts to allow young people to come in and get exposure and get introduced to this industry that they may not know about. But we also present it and reposture it in a way that affirms them where they are and allows them to understand that, hey, based on where you are, actually you can have a career within this industry, and maybe you just didn't know what pathways existed. And so if we can provide not only that exposure, but opportunities, and then we introduce it in a way that's different, they see the representation, they see themselves being represented in the industry in various roles, and then that's where they begin to see themselves, hey, possibly being within the industry.
With COVID shutting things down for so long, how do you persuade to get some of the Generation Z and the millennials, how do you get them off the couch? How do you get them motivated, to get into the workforce, especially in construction?
Yeah. Well, definitely COVID did impact things a lot, and especially when you think about educators as well. But I would tell you one thing that we've got from educators and from students, that they were dying to actually get back into the environment to where they can be more hands-on and be in a more community environment. And so, for us, that helped a lot. And we actually saw those numbers grow with the responses with educators and the opportunities to do I Built This events actually post-COVID.
I'm going to pick that up here a little bit, but right now we're going to roll in some testimonials from some business professionals who do the hiring and that are very impressed with what you do. Can we roll that, guys?
The construction industry is in a crisis. We have a large part of the workforce that's retiring. We have folks that don't know about the construction industry and the great careers that are in the construction industry. So this labor shortage has had us not be able to expand our business and not serve our customers.
Target came to us and said that we are rolling out a program where the genesis of it is actually we want to build our stores, refresh them, but we also want to invest in the communities that we serve. And whilst we're doing that, we want to have impact in these communities. And ConstructReach was the vehicle that Target used. And when I heard it, as a leader, being challenged with finding talent, especially young talent, it was just a great marriage.
We became involved with ConstructReach because we see it as an opportunity to solve this critical labor shortage. There's been lots of programs out there to help solve this labor shortage, but ConstructReach has taken a unique approach in bringing all the stakeholders to the table.
ConstructReach is an initiative to attract and retain the next generation of construction workers. As a person of color, I've actually seen a shortage of people from similar backgrounds not interested in entering the construction trades. If we're advocating for diversity, we're actually attracting and retaining young talent of diverse backgrounds.
We use the ConstructReach social network to keep in touch with potential interns, also to keep in touch with interns who have worked with us in the past.
We've had the opportunity to be more exposed to a lot of millennials and Generation X. The biggest accomplishment that ConstructReach has done for our organization really has allowed us to think outside the box and to be nimble, which has allowed us to actually move ahead on some of our hiring processes against larger competitors in the market.
ConstructReach has helped us formalize our internship program so it's more beneficial to the interns and to our company. They get more exposure to different trades that are out there and actually hands-on experience.
It's easy to put a Band-Aid and do rollouts and build in the communities, but to leave a sector better, anytime there's a partner that's doing that, we're all in.
Hey, Paul, it seems like this is a brilliant concept. I'm listening to the testimonies of these business owners and executives, and it's almost like your company's a godsend. The workforce is getting older. There's so much more talent now that's being underutilized and is now becoming aware of this. How do you respond to that video?
Well, I think that video, it's fulfilling to hear that, right? Because you start with an idea, you start with the concept, you start with the intentionality that you want to lead with and the ultimate outcome that you're seeking to get. And you don't know how that's going to be received until you actually put that into motion, right? And having that response, it definitely means a lot because you see employers and you see students and you see educators responding to it in a very positive way. And that was the intent, is to strengthen companies by allowing them to understand the untapped potential that's out there. And then to not necessarily change construction, but just change the approach to how we do it. So it's building, but also building communities simultaneously.
It's like there's a supply and there's a demand. Right now, there's a huge demand in the construction industry. I mean, when I call and try to get someone to come over and do work, they're 3-4 weeks, if not months out right now. So there's a huge market for this right now, and I think that the business owners are really appreciating what you're doing.
Yeah. Definitely, we get good responses from the business leaders, from employers, and so we just try to be the best partner that we can and allow them to accomplish what they are seeking to accomplish.
Let's go ahead and take a quick break right now, and we're going to pick up the conversation with Paul Robinson, the founder of ConstructReach, after this.
If you smoked, this new lung cancer screening could save your life. Visit SaveByTheScan.org.
Oh, hey, have you seen that piece on the Tiffany neighborhood on STL TV?
No.
Let me show you.
My wife and I were looking for homes. We lived in the city all of her life, and there's just a different energy when you're in the city.
Keep up with what's happening in your neighborhood. Watch STL TV. Be in the know.
Selfie. Nailed it.
And welcome back to City Corner. I'm your host, Todd Blackstock. Our conversation today is with the founder and CEO of ConstructReach, Paul Robinson. And Paul, let's pick it up. Let's talk about the school counselors. So you've got a nice initiative right now where you're getting inroads with counselors in the schools, and they can kind of pair you up with students that may be interested in going into the construction industry. What a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we try to develop very good relationships, not only with the industry, but with educators as well, to allow them to have good relationships with the industry so that they can present opportunities to their students. You know, we think it's definitely beneficial to position a young person as they're transitioning from adolescence to young adulthood. And just that transition alone, like there's a lot of weight because you want to make the next decision in life, but you also want to be informed as well. And so if we can partner with educators, then now we can provide opportunities, we can provide information that allows young people, these budding young adults, if you will, to make an informed decision about their next steps in life. And sometimes that is straight into a career.
So what's a prototypical person that you're looking for in the construction industry? I mean, is there a certain personality? Do you have to be strong? And I'm sure there's different areas of the business for each person. But what are you guys looking for? What are you going after?
You know what? I think you hit on it just a little bit there toward the end of that question. The construction industry is so vast. And it's not just one type of person that's able to exceed, right? Or excel. It's so vast and there's so many different career opportunities that exist. And whatever your interest is, you can probably find that under the umbrella of the construction industry. And so that's essentially what we lead with. So we get all types of individuals, right? But I would tell you this. Construction is one of the few industries where you actually get a chance to see at the end of each day the fruit of that labor, if you will, right? You get a chance to see because every single day at the end of that project, the project is a little bit further along than when you came onto the site when you started it. And so you actually get a chance to see that progress every day. And then when it's all said and done, you actually get a chance to say, hey, I was a part of that, or I built that.
I built that.
Right.
I mean, how rewarding is that to someone, especially younger in the business, looking at that from scratch? This was just a dirt field or this was an old outdated building from the 70s and now look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I had it all to do all over again, I would have paid more attention in shop class and auto mechanics. Do they even offer shop classes anymore? And if they do, I would be thinking that would be a nice route to go, especially if you're in inner city, especially if maybe you don't have the means to attend college like you did. Yeah. What a great opportunity to get in at high school and in the shop class, or maybe meet individuals like you and take that up as a career.
Yeah, absolutely. You're starting to see the emergence of CTE programs, career and technical education, that's being introduced with a lot of different career pathways in these clusters. And one of those that's in there, you have construction, you have kind of manufacturing, if you will. And so now you're starting to see that introduced to young people, and making a decision to go into those careers is being celebrated on par now, just as it would be going to a 4-year university to obtain a degree.
With college expenses going through the roof, I think, trade situations, you learn a trade, in high school, or, go through a group like ConstructReach, and you can learn your trade right there without having to go to a 4-year university and be, hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes in debt when you get out of college. You can go right in. There's good money in construction. Let me tell you this. I know a lot of guys in construction, and a lot of them went to college and learned some basic, business skills and things. But a lot of them, they go out and they pound nails and they make a lot of money doing it. They set their own hours. They work when they want. And then if they have the inclination, they move up and own a construction company, and then you're making millions.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an industry where you can succeed in a variety of different ways. And once again, it kind of goes back, and you'll kind of see that theme here in this interview, is that's what we try to introduce to young people as they are approaching adulthood, is letting them know the different options that they have. Right. And I think that's very important. Exposure is everything. If we can present to them options that they didn't know that they had, now it almost broadens their perspective. It opens up these new possibilities. And then if we can provide the relational kind of contact, if you will, to be mentors or to be those essentially networkers or those who can provide the opportunities, since we are within the industry, now we're able to allow people to tap into that untapped potential that they have, and that can be transformative.
So what's the most efficient way to provide a hub to the contractors to list jobs for possible employees?
Well, we get a chance to leverage our social network. Definitely leaning into the technological era that we are in and being able to provide opportunities throughout the U.S. that young people have accessibility to and access to as well. And so we definitely lean into that, being able to bring those two demographics, meaning a younger, diverse demographic and industry professionals, into the same space via technology, via our social network, to allow opportunities to take place.
So we've got another little short video that we found off your website. It was, I guess, a student. And let's see what some of the young people have to say about ConstructReach.
I'm from New York and I live in Indiana. So I think I've seen two sides of different worlds and different cultures. I consider myself a millennium Generation X hybrid. I'm still young enough to know what the kids think and like, but I'm old enough to know that a lot of them have different ways of learning. ConstructReach has ensured their advisory council is pretty diverse by having people like me join the council. They're always open to people I bring to the council meetings. And I think it matters the most because the initiative is trying to reach a diverse group.
With ConstructReach, they offer programs that will teach you more about the job industry instead of the standard hammer slinger. There's a lot more to construction than that. There's project management to engineers to architects. ConstructReach has something new every day just about. There's different tools that I can learn off of, and reaching out to people and asking how their experiences are and different paths that they've taken to learn.
But ConstructReach is pushing that technology effort forward, and I think that's going to be one of the key benefits of getting the young people engaged. I think it'll be a big social media platform for construction. I don't think there's anything out there right now for our industry.
When I was in high school, they just give us the textbook classes, and there's a few vocational schools, but when you step into the real world, it's a changer. You got bills and you got to figure out what you want to do with your life. Well, looking at ConstructReach, you can see what the roles of a project manager is, as also the architect. It teaches you all the different functions of each level of construction. A lot of people look past construction, they see lawyers and doctors. Well, there's plenty of construction opportunities that offer good pay as well.
I think this is a great program, and Paul Robinson is a great founder, and I think he keeps the edge on construction and brings a diverse aspect of it that nobody has thought of before.
I absolutely love that, Paul. I mean, I'm thinking about the slogan, "We build bridges, not walls." I'm seeing opportunity for young people to get involved, get off their couch, get to work in the construction industry, because obviously there's a big need right now for workers, and there's a big base of people out there that could use high-paying jobs.
Yes, absolutely. And we just try to make those attainable. Right? So building reachable opportunities through construction is definitely something that we try to lean into. And that operative word there is reachable, right? So we are coming to you. We're letting you know that there's opportunity within this industry, and then bringing the industry alongside of us to allow for opportunities to organically happen.
So we got a couple minutes left here, but I do want to talk about your podcast because you're really good at it. I watched several of your episodes. You know, you're meeting with different, members of the industry, from the owners and executives and administrators and things. Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, so the podcast, we are a year in. It's called iReach. And this is an opportunity for us to really look at various individuals who have different careers within the industry of construction, and they get a chance to tell their stories. And so if we could highlight those individuals who have various paths into getting into the industry, why they got into the industry, how it has helped them, and then what they do to bring awareness. Now you see representation at different levels, and that allows for other people to be able to see themselves being represented within the industry. So we always say, if I can see myself being represented, then now I can see myself being in the industry.
So how do you like it so far? I mean, interacting with all these kids, you get a fulfillment when you see someone that, they may not have the means to go to college, but then they can get into the construction industry. And it seems like you can provide hope, and a future for people.
Absolutely. I mean, it ties right into my purpose. I want to provide those opportunities. I was afforded the opportunity to do well within this industry, and it is just being in a position to give back and create a pathway for others to tap into their potential. And so, yes, that's why it is iReach.
Wow. So you've got some big events coming up later in this year. Would you like to share that with us, and then tell us about, the information if someone would like to get involved?
Yes. So we are going to kick off again our I Built This events, our campaign, if you will, across the U.S. So those always start up late summer going into the fall. So we are super excited. We're kind of planning, maybe back here in St. Louis.
Yeah, one's going to be here, hopefully.
Yes, absolutely. So we're planning something special, of course, for home. And so we're definitely looking forward to it. And so you can always find us on any social media platform. If you want to learn more about the podcast, get in contact with us, you can just go to ConstructReach. It's one word on various platforms. And yes, we will be available.
So you'll pick up the phone or have one of your associates take care of it, and then you can, help partner up and help people bring bright futures to themselves and their families.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts before we let you go, Paul?
No, just thanks for having me. Hopefully this got a chance to be presented to someone where now they have accessibility, they have awareness, they're informed now, and opportunities can come on the backside of this.
Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you.
To bring diversity and hope, to our community. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. So there you have it, folks. Paul Robinson, founder and CEO of ConstructReach, bringing diversity into the construction industry. Well, that's our show for today. We'd especially like to thank you for watching City Corner. I'm Todd Blackstock. Thanks for watching STL TV. Experience St. Louis.